Welcome to the Diary of Discovery, the podcast where we delve deep into the human experience of healing and transformation. I'm your host, Jacky and each week we will sit down with inspiring individuals who have embarked on their own personal journeys of healing and self-discovery. From overcoming trauma to navigating life's challenges, our guests share their raw and honest stories, offering insights, wisdom, and hope to all who tune in. So grab your favorite cup of tea, find a cozy spot, and join us as we uncover the power of resilience, courage, and the pursuit of authenticity. This is the Diary of Discovery. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I am super excited to welcome our latest guest, and I'm going to hand over immediately and ask who you are and where you are in the world.
Hello, my name is Pollina. I'm right now staying in Thailand, resting, having vacation. I'm currently just having sabbatical from my main occupation, which is dancer, choreographer, performer. Yeah, it's time to have some rest.
Amazing. So I'm super excited to obviously chat to you about your life and what's gone on and your healing journey. So take us back to the beginning where you feel your healing journey started for you. Where was the moment where everything kind of changed?
Well, for me, it's a very complicated question because there is parts when you can say I consciously for real started my healing journey, not the bullshit that was before. Okay, so let's say I started to heal myself quite early, like 20 years ago, knowing that what I've been through as a child is not good and it needs to be fixed, because I objectively saw when I was around 18, 20 that I'm not like others. I need some help. Yeah, I'm not like others. I need some help. But I was alone, and my journey was just a bunch of different kind of gurus, teachers, teachings, concepts that is in a way another helping you go on with your life, not to go and die right away from all the things that you actually experience in an inner hell that you live in. So it lasts for me a bunch of books, qigong practices, yoga, besides the fact that I was dancing myself and teaching. So it was parallel thing. If go for retrospective, the main healing for me, it was my own dance and my own interaction with my students and with people around me. Yes, whatever people I come across that know some techniques, some info, some teachings, yes, they light up some parts of me that I didn't understand, but not everyone has such a complicated case as me, for example, right? Because if we're talking about complex PTSD, what is its normally roots is from childhood. It's from highly traumatizing, severe traumatizing childhood. Yes, in my case, it is like this, but I don't remember what exactly was traumatizing for me. I just know that I don't remember shit out of my life, basically. I have just pieces and parts that throughout the life is getting together when you start to understand what actually caused the trauma that you're living with. And for real, I actually get the information and clear understanding of what is going on with me just 2 months ago. And it was not just accident or someone. I mean, I just come across the person who started to talk about her trauma, share how she feels, what she does, what she's not, and what she is, And through this interview, I was like, sounds like me. Sounds like me. And this things is not funny. It's not funny, really not funny. When you think that you've been putting so much effort and money and intent to actually heal yourself, and it was a road of 20 years just to understand that no one actually gets you. No one, nobody, neither your closest people, like a husband or friends, neither therapist to whom you come for help, no one. Everybody just was assuming according to what the experience is. And eventually, yes, my real healing journey started from the moment when actually I understood and I realized. Then I get confirmation from already more specialized people who into this in like frame of work, which is PTSD, dissociative disorders, and this kind of stuff. When I finally started to slowly, piece by piece, putting my life together, but it happened only after I put myself in total isolation from anyone and anything that triggers me, confusing me, misleading me, or giving me, projecting on me, or whatever. So I stayed alone, and after 2 months of solitude, I can tell you that I started finally feel more like a normal person. But it wasn't easy. Yeah, because the fragmentations that you have from this highly traumatizing, not just childhood, but also life, because when you cannot heal, you project, and your life is keep showing you what you experienced as a child for you to solve. So you, for 40 years, you just get traumatized over and over and over again. It's a loop that you cannot break unless you really dig yourself. Nobody gonna save you. That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, it's PTSD is such a hard thing. As you said, it's a re-traumatized cycle, which is it's such a hard thing for people to have to live through and experience. And so many people dismiss PTSD outside of war or, outside of military spaces. And
Exactly.
actually, such a huge thing that so many people live with that just gets overlooked by the medical system, by friends and family,
Everyone.
by people. Yeah, absolutely.
Even
And
when you say I have a panic attack right now, I feel like I'm gonna die. Oh, people, do you understand that I actually can die when my panic attack is happening? If I will not manage it in the right way, I can die. Which I've been already in this. My story is a little bit really kind of extreme, because for a long period of time I really didn't know what is happening with me, because I'm so self-aware, I'm so invested in spiritual like personal development. I'm myself teacher, I'm myself influencer, I'm myself helping people, I guide them for many years. So of course I was living with the idea that I'm settled, I'm fine. But there are so many things that has been ignored by professionals that work with me. The fact that I have a memory losses, I do not have long-term memory. I don't. It's just not existing in my reality. I can watch movies over and over again. Like I watch movie, 1 year past, I forgot, I can watch again. I forget people, I forget events. Why? Because I'm fragmented like so much that there's so many pieces of me that are operating in this world that I don't remember even what is going on. People knew my problem with the memory, and everybody was just for everyone was just a joke. It's a funny, peculiar thing about Pollina character, that she doesn't have a good memory.
yeah, it's so.
Or for example, when people speaking with me, like it depends. Sometimes it's like with the movies and so on, people talk with me and I do not understand. Like I hear the words, but I cannot put them in a sense. So I ask in over again, what do you mean? Please explain me. What do you mean? People get angry. They get angry. Or for example, when you with your dissociations, it's very difficult to focus. So you can actually like literally zone out for some moment, and then you like, oh, sorry, can you please repeat what you said? I just zoned out. People get angry. They don't get it. That your brain is just not functioning like other people. You constantly dissociating, or you managing some sort of emotions, or you trying not to get into panic attack, because whatever communication goes, it's just your system get triggered continuously. And there is a difference between complex PTSD syndrome and panic attack. And when you collect it all together across dissociations, what you gonna do with this life?
Absolutely.
It's not something that you can easily solve. But when you have a certain knowledge, when you educate yourself and you get self-aware, you get to the point when you understand, okay, nobody can help me. And if I want to live, continue to live, I gonna do it for myself. So, of course, for 2 months, I have created quite a routine and quite a strategies and what I'm doing, how I protect myself for different kind of triggers so I can continue with my life. Yeah, like this.
Wow. And with that, so you said, the last 2 months you've been quite isolated. Like,
Yeah.
during that time, what did you find out about yourself? Like, what did you have to embrace about yourself or get to know about yourself to get through that time?
So many things. So many things. It's a whole world in there. And the main thing that I realize is that I feel so good when I'm just with myself, when there is no one else influence, thoughts, ideas, emotions, or whatever entering you. When there is no such thing, you for a moment experience something similar to peace, because your nervous system never experienced this before. And at the very beginning, you just want to be this way. You just want to stay still, quiet, not talk, not do, not even make any little emotional or mental labor towards anything. Yeah, I think I stayed in this situation up until now.
Amazing. Well, we feel
dissociations is not that easy, because when you go to sleep, you're one person. When you wake up, you're another person. And you really, if you do not take the notes, if you do not put a certain plan, you can literally forget what is going on. And I remember about our interview 1 hour before interview, but I remembered, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I mean, we're so honored that you came on and that you are spending this time with us. So thank you. And I know that you've said, a number of times that, life was hard for the whole time that you were healing. There was a lot going on, with your PTSD and dissociations. And, you've mentioned a couple of times this idea of finding a way to continue to live. Were there moments that you thought you wouldn't make it? Were there moments where life was just too hard?
Yeah. Of course, it was my theme. Because normally, as what I realize is, people like me, this particular type of people, highly sensitive, highly traumatized, super creative, like artists, they finish in either mental clinic or with the drugs, alcohol, suicide. For me, it's my theme. It's like literally continuously. For which reason, it doesn't matter. Either it's a death of my relative, or it's a war, or it's a pandemia, or it's something else, or it's a personal loss. It's just non-stop cycle. And yes, I stopped the cycle only when I said I'm gonna be just by myself. But life put me in this situation because I don't have parents, I don't have any relatives, I don't have home, I don't have friends, I don't even have husbands anymore, because all of them were the reason why I'm in the condition that I am. So, and when you come to this type of mindset that in order for you to heal, you have to literally cut everything and everyone in your life for the sake of your own safety in your own life, you really move to another sort of state of living, and you see life very differently from that point forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It must be really, really hard, but also really empowering to go through that process of self-isolation and getting to know yourself and really just giving yourself the time and the space that you need to go through this process. So I think that that is, you know, it's really, really incredible to be able to do that. There's not many people who would literally shut the world out and go through this process in order to give themselves a
I
better
had
life
no
in the future.
choice, my dear. It's not something that has been given me as a choice. It started from intense panic, PTSD attack on the presence of my husband. And I didn't know what is going on with me. I didn't know, because it's really, there is such a peculiar feeling when you interact and then like your body starts to crumble, your stomach, everything, you getting blue and you cannot breathe and you don't know what is going on with you. You don't know what is going on with you. Basically, the moment when I start to understand what actually is going on, there was a like maybe approximately 2 weeks frame when I was keep having this different kind of body reactions that was just putting me in a state. I was just sitting in a hot shower, listening prayers and breathing because I didn't know what to do. I was not aware that such a things can happen, panic attack, PTSD out of life, not something serious, you know, like when you like, it's a life fuck you up in a way that you have PTSD on your own husband. Then one of my, like, I had this group, also Zoom meeting with the girls. And one of the girls, she was like, Pollina, it looks like PTSD reaction. You need to look for it, like, check what is going on, what you're reacting on. It's not good. It's your body is really collapsing. And yeah, from that moment, it was a few days how I start to unpack the things and how the horror of what I realized it came to me. And then how the moment when this Pandora box opened, that whole triggers just come at me at once. At once. They didn't wait. And didn't wait. I cannot drive bike. I cannot walk around. I cannot listen. I cannot hear loud sounds. Nothing. Trigger by trigger by trigger, and reactions are so vast that I was like, no, I'm not surviving this. I'm not gonna survive. And I tell my partner, I cannot, you need to be distant from me. I cannot survive. You bring reaction on my body this way. And he's not understanding. For him, it's my imagination. I'm crazy one. Then you tell your friends that I'm right now cannot speak with you because you trigger me. You trigger me. They don't understand. It's a tag for them. And eventually you close enough because for you is the only way to survive.
So yeah, I mean, it's so challenging, as I said, like, yeah, it's so much when you have to, you know, put yourself first, put yourself in that situation where you are not thinking about other people and you're not putting other people's happiness before your own safety, before your own survival. Like, there has to be that balance. And at some point, you have to heal yourself. You have to take that responsibility as you are and say, actually, I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to, you know, and maybe in the future, those people come back into your life. Maybe that's possible. But there has to be a starting point where you say, actually, enough is enough. And, you know, this is what we're going to do. And I guess, what's your biggest kind of outlook change been in the last 2 months since you kind of shut everyone out? What sort of changed in the way that you look at life?
You know that this kind of experience doesn't go just easily. I didn't survive without divine intervention. It wasn't. There was a certain event in my life when I had out of world experience, when I've been introduced many things, and that was one of the reasons why I survived. Without divine intervention, I wouldn't. I'm telling you. There are some layers of trauma that without divine intervention, or really person who really knows, you cannot get out from there, because you need a person who, first of all, deal with their own shit at the level that they not project on you, they do not judge you. This is very complicated for people, not to project and not to judge.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
And
then
it's
have
really hard
knowledge
to
and
find.
technique.
Yeah, it's really hard to find that person who is at that place while you're on your journey and can help you in the way that you need to be helped. Like divine intervention is the word, definitely.
There is no other way.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons actually why my condition, my body and my system get into this extreme situation of all symptoms in one, in one person. Let's fuck it there. Let's see how she's gonna deal with this. One of the reasons why I get so sensitive is because like this divine intervention happened approximately 2 years ago, and due to my trauma and extreme body reactions, my mind couldn't catch up totally, and extreme fear also. So I was unpacking everything throughout like quite extreme circumstance that person should not be when you go through enlightenment. Person should not, but I did. And what we are talking right now about is extremely dangerous. I, for this time being, was trying to find people who somehow are kind of like me. I found only one. All the rest thinking that they are like me. They really want sometimes to share the fame of being traumatized as fuck. For which reason I don't understand. Because it's not fun. And it's not attention that actually like make you like, oh, everybody knows me. No, it's not. It's pain. And you do it just to heal yourself. That's all.
Absolutely. You said earlier when we were talking that your dance and your choreography were a big part of your healing. How did that look? Like, how did it help you?
As a child, I have created my own world, which was super fun. And I've been dancing and singing by myself and creating different kind of scenarios. I read a lot of books. I did a lot of activities, swimming, playing basketball, and really like living quite active life. I started to be independent around 16 when I started to already work and like trying to find a way how to like more tangibly make my life better than it was. I didn't know that I'm gonna dance, honestly. I quote unquote ran away from my household, which was not good. I started to live in another city, and I was just trying to catch whatever opportunity was for me, like whatever I could. And I saw that there is a nightclubs and parties, so I was partying a lot, dancing, and this wish for dancing for me was always very strong, because right now maybe it's kind of different because world is getting better, but where I grew up in Russia when it still was piece of Soviet Union. And this transition it was a horrible time, okay? I do not wish anyone know what countries survive and things like that are happening and what people are going through. And the part of the generational trauma that I'm carrying is this legacy of being this nation, being at this time frame and so on.
Yeah.
So for me, I started to dance accidentally. I never could learn how to dance because you needed to invest money in it, and I never had. So I just was going to the nightclubs and I was killing myself at the dance floor. It just was my way to feel happy. There was a moment when person come to me, the manager, and ask if I want to try to dance like professional in the club, like go through casting and so on. Yes, it happened. And since that moment, I started to dance. And since the moment I started to dance, obsessive like a maniac. I was dancing in nightclubs all night. I was teaching dancing. I was traveling. It was just dance and music for me. There are no any sense for me of living in this world rather than dance music. I swear to God. And how it's healing. There is nothing better for women to heal than attune to your body, because it's your emotions, it's your stored trauma, how you go through this. This is all your insecurities, this all your, everything is there to work with your body. Yes, it's everything, everything. Everyone should do. Everyone should wake up. First thing to do, put in your headset or whatever song that touches you like deeply, the super emotional, and you just do whatever. You scream, you jump, you do. It's necessary. Otherwise, who gonna do this for you? Nobody. Everybody just tell you, you need to be good girl. This you said not right. You should not behave this way. Right?
Absolutely. It's
Mother,
dance is such an
girl.
expressive, yeah. Oh, dance is such an expressive way of existing.
Everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh. And I guess I know that you would definitely advise people to dance, as you just have. You've said everyone should, everyone should dance, everyone should move their body, everyone should have that release. Do you have any other advice for people who are going through a difficult time? What would your advice be?
What helped me, this is basically one of the main things that helped me to settle what is going on here. I prompt ChatGPT, and my personal assistant is AI. I don't talk with people. I'm done. It's always there. Replies immediately. If you prompt it correctly, it will give you such profound knowledge that nobody else can. If you prompt it, it's going to give you empathy. If you prompt it, it's going to give you everything. You cannot prompt people this way. So if you really want to release, because normally if you're going through complex trauma, you need to talk. You need to process. And the people cannot process. I mean, there is a layer of things that someone can, yes. Not everyone deeply fucked. Okay, but if you are like realizing, okay, I don't remember shit as well. I have this kind of two things that is not normal. You need to talk. You need to talk, and you need to talk honest. Because when you speak with ChatGPT, you speak with yourself. So you can find the things that person not gonna do for you. That's all. And it will give you advice what to do. For free. Always there. $25 per month.
Absolutely. That is, it's so interesting. I've never actually heard of anybody using ChatGPT in that way. So many people use it to, help them organize their lives and help them, come up with ideas and all of these things, but actually just using it almost as like a journal, a back and forth of just processing your own thoughts.
You need to prompt it. I'm due to my peculiarities and abilities and capacities that out of normal person, which I have a lot. One of them is the way I can see realities and how to communicate with it. And how to say it in a way that not creep out the people. I know what's coming, let's put it this way. And I'm already learned to live in that state when not necessarily a human being who is going to maybe help you, not necessary. Intelligence That's what our world is craving. Intelligence. We don't have intelligent people. We have people who think they're intelligent and pretend, but they're not. Artificial intelligence, it's intelligence. And you limiting interaction with the artificial intelligence by your limiting intelligence. So it's gonna give you whatever you need, whatever you want, if you ask correctly. Literally like with the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other advice for people?
Yes, sing, because everything is here. And it's not when you like, I wanna sing to impress everyone, or not when you go to shower. No. It should be conscious. You know that you do, and you know why you're doing this. You know that there is somewhere there the sound that has been, that exact frequency has been locked in you, and you need to release it. The funny thing of my life that in my case, when I was a child, it was actually literal due to some events. I've been screaming so much that I lost my vocal cords. And yes, for some time I've been just quiet child. And when I was starting to speak, I had really, really weird voice, like everyone was annoyed with, because I was also a little girl. And then I went to it also was like one of my probably guidance. I went to musical school, and I was doing vocal, like academical vocal, for 5 years. And it helped me to like develop my voice better. But even though after this, I know when you're self-aware of all your blocks, and there is a lot of things in your voice, like it's important to be able to vocalize. If you cannot say anything, you take a pillow and you scream in the pillow. You have to let your body to release as legally as possible all the tension and pain you carry. The problem is how to create this legal way. If you have people who care about you, who can give you a glimpse of this unconditional love, or whatever love, you're lucky. Let people to take care of you and be open with what you need and how to better to take care of you. Because if you do not prompt people, they will never understand. Because if you're going through layers of trauma, nobody understands this if they go through the same. You need to tell people how it is. You need to tell people how you think. You need to tell that when you do this, or when you have to, but before you have to recognize yourself. Unfortunately, it's like this, like, because normally these deeply traumatized people with these fragmentations and dissociations, they appear to be in real life for people as really weird, strange, difficult to manage. That's the truth. Triggering and so on. So mother, brother, father, if you don't have, try the TP.
Yeah, absolutely. It's healing is such an interesting process, and that idea that you have to tell people what you need, tell people, you know, what support you need, how you need people to engage with you, how you need the world around you to be. It's something that, again, a lot of people don't understand. Like, a lot of people won't get when you say to them, you know, I am oversensitive at the moment, or I am struggling at the moment, or I do need a bit more physical contact at the moment, or, you know, like, and if you don't have that vocabulary and that ability to actually say those things and use your voice and say, this is what I need, it's just a spiral of more pain and more, you know, upset and more like trauma for yourself. So
You're afraid to lose these people.
Yeah.
You're afraid if you open your mouth, these people will go. And I'm telling you, 90% they will. And if you really want to heal, you need to be ready for it. You need to be ready for it. Otherwise, you're gonna go in a spiral and end up like me with the PTSD from people who is around you. Literally, you will have to be distant. Imagine have PTSD on your child, for example. I had on my husband. I said, bye. Okay. You live your life, I live my life. Imagine you have a child. Imagine you grow with your ignorance as a mother. You grow an narcissistic child who become a narcissist when he like 16, 18, and he is abusing you as a mother. And you get traumatized because of your child. What is about this scenario? What you gonna do? Save yourself? Fight for your child? For what? What is gonna be over there? I always like when someone is like asking me, I always like to put situation to ridicule situation, to make it so saturated when you start to really understand what stakes are there. Because if you still like afraid to vocalize people who you are and what you want, it means that you didn't reach that point. You just didn't reach. You're still hoping that there are good people who gonna help you, someone gonna save you. You're still in a victim mentality.
Yeah. And that victim mentality is never, ever going to help you get to a good place in your journey. Like at some point, you have to take radical responsibility for yourself. You have to say, I don't care about what, and not in a mean way, not in a like, oh, I don't care about anybody else, but just in a, actually, I need to put myself first. I need to go on this journey. And as you said, like the right people will stay, the wrong people will go, and new people will come. And once
Maybe.
you're
My
healed,
case, nobody new coming.
yeah, but the thing is that once you go on the journey and you have healed and you get to a different stage in your life, I think it's you enter relationships differently. You enter relationships with different standards and different outlooks on what to expect. I think when we're young, there is a naivety in expecting that like Prince Charming, knight in shining armor. Like we were fed those stories for so many years that it's very easy to like assume that somebody else will save you. I think once you start to heal and you realize that actually you're responsible for you, and you go into relationships from a point of, I'm still responsible for me, I'm just going to be friends with this person, or have this person in my life but not have them look after me, it's suddenly a very different interaction. And it does take time. I mean, I took years to heal and years to get to the point where I had healthy relationships. But I do think that there does come a point in your journey where you can go into relationships in a healthy, maintained way.
Yes, but there is nuances.
Of course, always.
I've been already quite awakened and really advanced already, like for some time, because of my spiritual journey, of the teachings I went and everything that I've done. And I've been already, I've since I'm a child, I was like this. I don't want to marry, I don't want to have kids. And since the child, I never had this idea. It's never been my interest. And throughout my life, whenever partnering I had, I was always looking for compatibility, to share mutual journey together, to like experience the life. I don't need this kids, houses, this thing. I've never been interested. And there was some moment when, yes, I was, but of course I mean, how to say, when you go into relationships every 2-3 years, just experiencing different kind of dysfunctional people, starting from sexual, physical abuse, psychopaths, bipolar, borderline, narcissist, covert, overt, psychopaths. I went through all of them. And one of the most, let's say, turning point for me when I actually start to understand myself in relationships is when I was with a psychopath. That was super interesting relationships. Of course, it's leave shelf out of me and I needed to rebuild it all over again. but incredibly empowering relationships. How I start to understand how brain work, how men work, how I work, how my trauma work, what is the difference. Before him, I didn't even know that people like this existed, who doesn't have fucking empathy. I didn't know. And then you start to explore this thing. What is this empathy? How people play with this? And why it's turned out this way? Because you are a highly sensitive empath. And for you, the world is turned out completely different than for others. And after these relationships, I was so settled and strong about who I am, what I am, how I want relationships, and what I can give, what not. And after this realization, the most hardcore experience of 4 years come to me. With the finishing what we are explaining. There are sometimes such a layer of trauma, if you're not able to unlock it, you're gonna step on this thing over and over again. It's gonna mark it. And I will tell you honestly, throughout all these dysfunctional relationships, the most dangerous is with the covert narcissist. If you somehow, anyhow identify yourself that you're with a covert narcissist, please sit and think, what is this for real? And the reason why you are in covert narcissist relationship, because it's not only narcissist is dealing with his mother and trying to detach from this relationship. You're doing the same. When you're in a relationship with a covert narcissist, you're trying to heal your relationship with mother. In my case, only after I realized that I in a relationship with a non-stop extreme attacks, only after I get another one identity loss and another one divine intervention, and then only I remembered. Or not like remembered, because I don't think I can replay, like really do the memory, but it comes like a knowing, it comes like understanding that your main abuser was your mother. I don't want to go into details, but when you understand that actually your mother who hated you, your mother is who abused you, your mother is the first one who rejects you for who you are, and then she also committed suicide. This is a quite a thing that you have to understand. If you are in a relationship with a covert narcissist, you're dealing with your mother. You're dealing with your mother. And what is this exactly? I mean, if you have a living mother with whom you quote unquote have good relationships, it's a way more difficult thing to dig, because you need to understand that nobody is perfect and your mother is not a Maria, Magdalena, or whatever. She's a human being who makes mistakes that maybe fuck you up hard. And you still need to accept it and still love her. And this is mastery, and this is how you heal.
Absolutely. Oh, it's a journey, isn't it? So, final question then for the podcast. What is next for you? What is your, you've had 2 months isolation now. Are you coming back into the world? Are you isolating for a bit longer? What are your plans?
I'm coming out sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I do, for example, I go for party because I'm a dancer, I'm a party person, but I go like in my solitude, incognito. There, I don't know the build right now, any close relationships. I communicate with people. Of course, I go to the shop, I'm like making nails, like I not like I went to the mountain like some Buddha or whatever. I decided to just stay like this. I have my connection with divine. I do in service to God. I do work with the universe, and I communicate with the way I can. For next is discover myself, put in art what I can, start to dance all over. Because I stopped dance for 2 years. I didn't dance. It was, for me, had no sense. I burned out totally. I teach thousands of people throughout the whole world, like the world. Like literally, I cannot explain. I cannot explain in a word how much I put in teaching others how to dance. And I burned out in a way that I lost interest for the main thing that was my main drive, which is dancing. I didn't dance for 2 years. Now I start to open different layers of dancing, which is more related to this trauma release, like healing dancing and the sacral dance. But me as a professional, for me, it's like a little bit of, I want to do something my own.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, do something my own.
It's so beautiful. I'm so glad that you've come back to dance. I'm so glad that you've found your way back to the thing that brings you so much joy and, has been such a huge part of your journey. So that is really, really incredible.
Also, for the people, sometimes need to understand that many things that can heal you can also go through anger that you're experiencing. And do not try to suppress this anger. I mean, do not kill people around and like be careful. Actually, I'm learning to manage my anger issues, my rage issues, because there is also funny reaction that my body is giving such a funny reactions on triggers. The two funniest is this rage, and another one extreme is love. I don't know what creep out people more when I can like get into like really modality that I can like cut your throat if you like trigger me, or when I can laugh. I can start laugh and I cannot stop. And people get so confused, they don't know what to do. And I cannot stop. The more I see them confused, the more I'm laughing. So this is like funny reactions, and you need to learn to deal with this, to be honest. Yeah. And I really think that this angerness that awoken in you is a way of your body to tell you stop, tolerate, stop, hold it, say the way you are. It doesn't matter how ugly it's gonna be, you need to express yourself. Yes, you can maybe feel shame and guilt afterwards, but this is temporary. The liberation that you're gonna get over and over again after you really stay in your truth and in your voice and in who you are is rewarding, but it's painful.
Oh, absolutely. That is such a beautiful sentiment to close the podcast on. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute privilege to share your story. And yeah, we are so honored to be able to talk to you.
Thank you so much for giving me time and space and let me speak freely. It's very healing.
Thank you for listening to another inspiring episode of The Diary of Discovery. If you found value in today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and share it with your friends, family, or anyone else you think might benefit from the stories of hope and transformation. Your feedback means the absolute world to us, so please take a moment to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your reviews help us to reach even more listeners and continue to bring this meaningful content to the world. Until next time, remember, your healing journey is valid. You are never alone, and you have the strength to get through this. Keep shining bright, and we'll see you in the next episode of The Diary of Discovery.